e-commerce to healthcare, a lot of projects. And currently, I'm with DB Shankar, managing entire portfolio of solution designing in Mumbai. So that is about me. Um, yeah. Now uh, I want a few ideas from you because you people are in first year MMS and probably you want to explore whether you want to pursue operations management or some other branch or a specialization. So if you have any questions, please raise those questions um, one by one. Yeah, and then I will try to answer those questions. And my answers to you will be very broad. I will talk about more like because I have a knowledge of varied industry verticals, so I will give you a brief about what happens in those particular verticals and what will be the career within those industry verticals. So you start your question.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, my first question I want to ask is that in operations, what comes under operations? Which post do come under operations? Uh, so can
Yeah.
you elaborate on that little? Operations,
Yeah. Yeah.
what
Yeah.
actually, and which post comes under?
Yeah. So operations is essentially divided into, I will say, three parts. One is raw material or material management, I will say, wherein you source raw material from vendors. So it includes purchasing, procurement, demand planning of raw material, vendor management, identification of new vendors, new technologies in order to reduce cost of raw materials. So that is the first part. Second part is production management, wherein you can do various jobs of um, I will say production planning, quality management. These are the activities which are essentially done in production planning. Third is warehousing and distribution. So wherein once you receive finished goods from the plant, you do distribution planning. That is, you decide which distributor or which dealer is to be replenished and at what frequency. You also decide what should be the warehousing and distribution cost. You also decide which is the best transportation medium to be used for distribution purpose. Uh, so all those activities are involved in third leg of supply chain, which is warehousing and distribution. One last part of warehousing and distribution also nowadays it is playing very critical role is returns management, and returns play very critical role in uh, three industry verticals. One is your e-commerce and fashion retail, wherein once goods reach to end customer, if they don't like goods, they have a liberty of returning those products back to e-commerce company. So how these returns happen from market back to the warehouse, that is managed by distribution team. Second industry vertical is healthcare, wherein a lot of returns of expired stocks of high value medicines, they are sent back by distributors back to the manufacturing company, and they get some cash back against it. These manufacturing or pharmaceutical industries, these companies, they ensure that these returns come back to the warehouse, and they don't fall into wrong hands, because there is very high risk of spurious and duplicate goods getting distributed again back to the market. So they ensure that all those stocks come back to the warehouse. And third is electronics vertical, wherein like example, if your laptop goes bad and if it requires any replacement of part, that defective part come back to the warehouse. So how it, because there is a value attached to it, although it is a faulty, it is a defective, it can be repaired also sometimes, or certain parts can be recovered and reused. There is a lot of value attached to it. And so these are the three verticals which also focus, apart from forward logistics, they also focus on return logistics. So the third leg also includes for this, especially this industry vertical, also include forward and return logistics. Yeah. So answering to your question, what all roles which are available in first leg, that is raw material sourcing and material management. You can work as a procurement manager. You can work as a sourcing manager. In second leg, you can work as a production manager, as well as quality manager also, because quality also falls into operations management scope. And third is where finished goods supply to the market is involved. You work as a supply chain distribution manager. So this is primarily, and what I'm talking about is if you work with manufacturing companies or trading companies. But if you work with a logistics service provider, who is into say shipping or who is into third-party logistics, you work as a customer manager. The customer manager helps bridge a gap between customer and shipping or a logistics service provider. You can work as a warehouse manager. You can work as a quality manager within that company. You can work as a solution designer within that company. You can work as a even business development manager, because you know supply chain better. So you can also work as a business development manager for this company. So there are varied roles available. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sir, this was all under the production sector, sir, which you all explained. Sir, other than production sector, in which other fields, in finance or marketing, is there any operation role or?
No, in finance and marketing, operation management role is not there. There are very niche segments even within finance, but those are very niche roles and very few also. But where they use some statistical models to calculate certain risk involved in financial product, but those roles are very few and very niche. So uh, there is no. I don't think we should be even talking about it.
Okay, sir.
Yes, please.
All those who want to ask questions to sir, please.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Sir, it's Ajinkya Dige, and I have done civil engineering and I have 1 year of experience, and I am going to do operation management in my specialization in this MMS course.
Hmm.
So, I would like to know much more about how operation management is implemented in construction companies, as I have done only technical roles as
Mm-hmm.
a site engineer.
Hmm.
And according to the three streams you just now told, Shubham, that was the first purchasing procurement of material. Second is production and planning.
Hmm.
And third, you said warehouse planning, where my first preference to an organization where I would like to work is construction itself. But
Hmm.
second option I'll consider to go in logistic, that is
Hmm.
FMCG or those e-commerce sites you said, because they
Hmm.
are certainly they are well paid, and in construction entry level management is also not well paid.
Hmm.
So that is what I'm thinking. Can you give me like, I'm asking, it's a very vague question, but I'm asking for your wisdom so that I can add and narrow down my path.
Yeah. So, with civil engineering background, one of the role, what I just mentioned was sourcing manager or a procurement manager. That is the one role that can be taken up. Second role is project management, because you have a civil engineering background, and civil engineering projects are all long gestation projects. So a lot of project management scheduling is required when these projects are conceptualized and implemented. So that could be the second role what you can look at, which is the project management.
Yes, sir. And further, having more liberty and asking you a question, very naive. That is, I have previously worked as a billing engineer also. So now I did not did it earlier, but now I am doing an advanced Excel course with Udemy, and I
Hmm.
am now confused with other course. That is, do I do a Six Sigma course first or PPM course first, which would
Mhm.
help me to get an internship, which is in 1 month.
Uh, Six Sigma is well accepted within the industry because everyone knows about it. Uh, I think that should help in your case.
Thank you, sir. If further something strikes me, I'll ask you.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Sir, can you elaborate more about what courses extra we can do in the operations on LinkedIn or Intershal or anything?
I don't know about today's curriculum, what all subjects and topics are covered. But when I did the MMS, one of the lacuna was it did not include international freight and custom clearance. So apart from this MMS, I had to pursue external course on freight forwarding and custom clearance, which I pursued separately, and it helps. There are a lot of jobs in shipping sector and it helps. So I don't know what is current curriculum, whether it covers or not cover. I don't know, but that should help.
Okay, sir.
Do you have that topic in your curriculum in second year?
Sir, which topic, sir?
International freight and custom clearance.
So we don't know, yeah, right now if
Uh,
we have or not have.
okay,
Pro- Probably no, because I read the syllabus, and probably no.
okay.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of institutes who offer these courses. One is Wellinger. I pursued it from Wellinger. And then there was one more. I think World Trade Center also offers that course. These are the reputed ones, and there could be many more. Yeah. Yes, please.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Vinit here.
Yeah, Vinay.
Yeah, hi. So actually, even I have worked for DHL. I was
Mhm.
in DHL DGF, GSC in Mumbai. I was working in the sales quotations process. Right now, I'm also planning to do my specialization in operations, but I'm confused. Like after my graduate, like after completing MMS, should I go for freight forwarding or should I be joining logistics, as in how you joined Bajaj? Like, should I go for such roles or what should I do? Because I have experience in freight forwarding.
So you continue with freight forwarding because you have that experience on your resume. So rather than exploring a new field, you can opt for freight forwarding also.
Actually,
So,
sir, my area of interest is procurement and like forecasting and procurement. So, can you suggest any courses? Because I went on through Google searches. They were like, asking me to do some courses or APICS courses like certified supply chain, professional certification, etc. But I have
hmm.
no clue like from where should I do it, or which are the certified bodies that can give me a certification that is accepted by the industry.
So Apex is widely available. Again, I don't know what all topics it covers, whether it is specifically covers demand forecasting or something else also. But once I had an opportunity to go through its curriculum, and I found it very similar to even MMS also. So there was hardly any difference between Apex and MMS. But if recently, if they have added any specific topic related to demand forecasting, then that should be a better one. Uh, uh, Demand forecasting uh, comes with prior experience. So unless you work in a distribution department or materials department, those jobs are not usually offered to freshers. So you are given some other roles and responsibilities, and once you understand the market, once you understand the production process or a customer requirement and how market functions, then such roles are offered. So because for demand forecasting, you should know customer behavior, ordering pattern, because customer don't buy products in all 12 months. So you will see a lot of sale happening during festival season, or during month end, or during year end. So you come to know such cycles only after understanding customer requirements. So many companies, what they do is, once you join them, especially manufacturing companies, once you join them as a fresher, they rotate you in various departments. They will tell you to work for 2 years in, say, production, wherein you work on shop floor. Then you are asked to work in sourcing department, where you learn sourcing of material, vendor management, etc. And then you are asked to work in logistics, wherein you manage finished goods distribution and deliveries. And after honing all these skills, you are given a job of demand forecasting. Because what happens is, why demand forecasting is very critical role is because if demand forecasting goes wrong, two things can happen. One, the products will not reach the end customer, so there will be a loss of sale that will happen because forecast is wrong. Second could be a lot of inventory in network, so which will increase your inventory holding cost. So that is the reason this is a very strategic role, and that is offered only after gaining experience.
Okay, so got it. But actually, sir, from the point of view of freight forwarding companies, like for example, DHL itself, we have forecasting roles. That there are people in the operation excellence department who like forecast. They will book some slots and everything with the shipping companies, etc. So for those roles, can you suggest any courses, or what can I do so I can land such position?
I don't know whether there is any specific course that offers only demand forecasting. I have not come across to any such course. Frankly speaking.
Yeah, so because the Apex course is also like other courses, it is
Yeah,
simply about supply chain management. It's not focused on demand forecasting. So that's why
yeah,
I'm asking.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So one more question I would like to ask.
Yeah.
As through my experience, sir, the degree and whatever book you read and you become an engineer, it's one thing. But experiencing day-to-day life on site or in uh, warehouse or on shop floor, so we get to learn with personalities in and around us.
Yes.
Okay, so as an internship is soon in 1 month, so and as a trainee, what would be according to you that which person or which designation or which role we should be seeing or observing and learning through it?
Uh, Rather than role, I will suggest uh, go into a company from long term perspective. I'm saying, rather than going into a core product company, you go into service industry, uh, because that is where I see growth coming from. Uh, because I work with product companies, Honda and Godrej, and life was like very routine. And after spending 2 years or so in that industry, uh, it was like a day in day out kind of job. So there were very lesser challenges per se. Um, because it was a single product company, or products were very, very specific, industry vertical was specific, and we were knowing what all challenges that can come, and we were all prepared. So per se, it was very routine and boring job per se. So that is when I thought of whether I should change it to service industry, where you get an opportunity to work with varied industry vertical. You work with multiple customers from multiple industries, uh, and that you will find more interesting. And uh, every day new requirement will come. You will have different challenges altogether, and that will make your job also interesting. So rather than product company, I will prefer service industry, and where the choice is also you have a wider choice.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I wanted to ask, sir, I'm a mechanical engineer, and I have a 2 years of work experience. Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah. You are audible. Yes.
I have a 2 years of work experience as a production supervisor and business development head. So after I complete MBA, where should I focus? Where should I go uh, for my further job and all?
My advice to you will be take up the first job what you get. Don't focus too much on a field or a function or a department. Whatever you get, you just accept as a first job, uh, and because that will give you an experience in the industry. And once you enter into the industry, then it is up to you whether you want to continue with the same industry or you want to change and go to some other function. That is always an option with you. But don't in initial period don't focus on any specific department or a function. Whatever opportunity you are getting, you just grab it, because market is tough. There are very, very less jobs available in the market because of epidemic situation. So just take the job which is available at this point of time and just move on. Don't even look at salary also.
Okay, sir. So I'm also quite bit confused. Should I go for operations or should I go for finance also? So I'm also confused in little a bit of that. So I asked because so I have also have a so I have an work experience in the mechanical sector, but I also want to go in business development sector related to finance and all. So I asked.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Sir, can you share some of your experiences in regarding your work and also?
Yeah. So starting with the first job, which was in Godrej Appliances, um, where I was doing transportation of all white goods which are manufactured in Vikhroli plant to all over India depots. So yeah, it was like distribution of refrigerators, washing machines from Godrej Vikhroli plant to I think 17 or 18 depots which were there at that point of time across country. So it was all transportation management and monitoring of inventory at all these depots. And so certain thresholds are all fixed for every depot. And if your system monitors SKU level or product level stock at every depot, and if system sees that the stock is below the threshold limit, it tells you that okay, now the stock requires a replenishment. So you arrange a transportation and you make a minimum order quantity, and you transport the goods from manufacturing location to that particular depot. So that is a scope in very broad sense. Second was in Honda, where the role was more or less same as of Godrej. Only the difference was culturally it was a Japanese organization, so it was highly process oriented. All activities were already written in SOP that okay, if you want to move this product from A to B, you have to only follow that particular process only. You are not allowed to deviate from anything. So it was all 100% process oriented organization, being a Japanese organization. Product was automobile, two-wheelers, and two-wheelers included bikes and scooters. So bikes like Unicorn and scooters like Activa and Dio and Eterno and all those. So one of the key challenge in distribution of automobiles was you also get opportunity to design a truck because when you transport two-wheelers in a truck, I don't know whether you have seen or not. It is a two-carriage double floor truck wherein you see two-wheelers on ground also and on first level also. Once you load these vehicles into those two levels, there are certain jigs and fixtures which are to be affixed to the bikes or scooters, so that they don't leave their position during transit. Because the moment they leave their position during transport, damage will happen. So there are certain jigs and fixtures which are affixed on them, and that is where designing of trucks become very important. So apart from the job what I did in Godrej, this was an additional learning for me that how to design a truck for distribution of vehicles. Third was agility logistics, where I was into solution design, and there I got an opportunity to work with end-to-end logistic customer, wherein it was a role of even handling of sourcing of or even picking up of shipment from some location in China, bringing the container to that particular nearest port of dispatch, arranging for custom clearance in that country, then then international freight, bringing it into India, custom clearance, again local transportation to the warehousing per se, and from warehousing again transportation of goods from warehouse to distributors or end customers, whoever they are. So it covered all legs of supply chain. Fourth one was in DHL, again all big projects, right from designing warehouses for e-commerce, then retail company, a white good retail company, then making cold chain supply chain projects for pharmaceutical industry, wherein you keep your medicines in sub-zero or in 2 to 8 degrees, and a lot of compliances are also to be followed because you store medicines. And in current job in Shankar, again all these industry vertical with different challenges altogether, with arrival of e-commerce companies like Amazon and Flipkart, wherein we also, apart from warehousing, we also manage distribution. So these are the various jobs I have done in the past.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, some of our students who are non-engineers are confused whether they can take operations, and if so, whether they'll be employable or not. So what would you have to say?
Operations, again, it all depends on the role which you are taking up. If you are working on a production shop floor, a manufacturing company production shop floor, these people, they expect people who have a good man management skills, because on the shop floor you control lot many people, you manage lot many people. So there, what they expect is whether you have a good leadership skills, whether you have a good man management skills. That is what they look at. If you are into sourcing or any kind of designing role or in quality control, wherein a lot of calculations are involved, they expect you to be an engineer. So it all depends which role which role is on platter. So
Okay, sir.
yeah,
Sir, may I ask a question?
yeah, yeah. Go
Sir,
ahead.
could you describe, could you elaborate the hierarchy in the operations department a little bit? Because most of us aren't that much known. Most of us don't have that much ideas about the hierarchy and the career growth in operations sector.
Yeah. Per se, in any industry vertical, there is no operations department. Okay. Operation is a very, very broad term used, but there is no operation department. So keep this in mind. There are various departments, like I said before, procurement department, wherein the lowest role is a purchase executive or a procurement executive, and it goes up to head of the department. So what purchase executives does is he essentially collates and collects quotes from the market. Okay, the person who is above him will decide which is the best vendor. Okay. Within procurement also there are two segments. One is direct procurement, wherein the procurement person procures products or goods or raw material which are directly going into his finished product. Okay, so it is called direct purchase, direct material purchase. That is a raw material meant for production. Second section within procurement department is indirect material purchase. This includes all indirect materials which are required for, which act as a support for running the operation. So they could be spares, for example, of machinery, or they could be even production machinery also. So these are all indirect procurement or indirect purchase. Both direct and indirect purchase people, they report to one single head of the department. Direct material people also do certain demand forecasting job of raw material. So they get inputs from production. How it happens, I will tell you. The entire supply chain in any company, it starts with customer, end customer. So your marketing team, sales team, they forecast something. They pass on their forecast to production, saying that okay, they expect this demand coming in after say 2 months, 3 months, or whatever is the time period. Based on that demand, production department develops a production plan that on 1st of April they will manufacture this is product A, product B, product C, and this is the production quantity for each of these ABC products. Similarly, for 2nd of April, they will produce this, and they give this production plan to material department. Material department analyzes that data that okay, on day one, on 1st of April, production is going to manufacture product A, B, and C, and for producing A, B, and C, they require this is raw material. Okay. So they do certain demand planning that okay, if 1st of April they are going to consume this material in production plan, it should be reaching the manufacturing plant at least say 1 month in advance or 15 days in advance, depending upon the location of the supplier. Because even manufacturing companies, they maintain some raw material inventory within their plant premises, okay, or just outside the plant. Of certain critical components. So And then there are certain industries who work on JIT concept also, which is a just-in-time concept, primarily automotive companies, because all their vendors are co-located to the factory. So you will see location like Chakan, for example, where there are a lot of automotive companies, and all suppliers of automotive companies, they are all based in and around Chakan, Pune only. Similar is for Gurgaon also, wherein a lot of automotive companies are there. So there, that concept can work of just in time. But other industries where this concept cannot work, they maintain certain inventory nearby to their plant location. So this procurement manager decides that, okay, on 1st of April, production is for ABC. He will ensure that that inventory is available for production on 1st of April. That is his job. And then he works backward and he gives purchase orders to his supplier stating that, okay, I need to produce on 1st of April this product, and this is a bill of material or what we call a BOM for it, and you need to deliver the raw material for this product of this ABC products on this particular day to this particular location. That is how the schedules are sent to suppliers. And then next is expediting job. That once orders are sent to supplier, his job is to also follow up with him so that the raw material is available when it is required. So it is called expediting job. So he will keep a track. He will call vendor every day saying that, okay, I had given you order on this day, whether the material is reaching on this day or not. So he will ensure that regular follow-ups with the vendors are happening. Okay. So this is the role of direct material department. Second is indirect material. These are all indent based. For example, maintenance department. They see that there is some maintenance of machinery is going to happen, or either a scheduled one or a ad hoc one, and they raise a request to indirect material department stating that, okay, this is a machinery I am having, and I require these spare parts so that I can I can repair those machines, or I can do a regular maintenance of those machines and all those. So these are all indirect materials. So that is how within procurement there is a purchase executive. Above purchase executive, so purchase executive can be for direct and indirect. Then there is a material purchase manager, again for direct, indirect, and then there could be a manager even for international sourcing also. If you are importing certain raw material from abroad, or certain indirect material from abroad, he's a person who coordinates with international vendor. He is a person who work with custom clearance agent so that the shipments are cleared in time at port. That so he could be one person for it. And then above him is department head. Similarly, in production also the same, production planning executive. Then there could be a quality guy, QA, QC guy, and then the production department manager or head of the department will come. Okay. Similarly, for sales and distribution, in sales and distribution there are two roles, or rather I will say three roles. One is demand forecasting. So these are the people who work with sales and understand their forecast so that it can be converted into a distribution plan. Second person is a warehousing or a logistic person, I will say. His role is to ensure that depots are fulfilled or replenished at a regular frequency so that there is no stock out in the market. And third person is transportation or distribution person. His role is to manage the transportation between various legs, right from plant to depot or from depot to end customer. His job is to manage the transportation. So transportation involves placing of vehicles of different sizes, agreeing on certain freight rates with transportation, and third is scheduling of vehicles. So you can say that, okay, on day one I require 30 vehicles, on day two I require 20 vehicles of this size. So he decides on schedules, he places those schedules with the transporter, and he ensures that those vehicles are available on that particular day. And similarly, he also manages transportation from depots to end customers. So in distribution department, again, distribution executive is the lowest position, and then it goes up to head of the department. Yeah.
Okay, sir. We'll go.
So, sir,
Yes. Yeah.
sir, do we have any jobs in oil and gas companies like Indian Oil and like that in operations?
I could not hear you properly. There was a lot of noise.
Can you hear me now?
If you can repeat your question.
Sir, do you have any jobs in oil and gas industries like Indian Oil, ISA, etc.
Okay.
in operations?
What do you mean by operations? Which department? And
I'm not sure about that, sir. I mean, I don't know. Just
no.
asking.
Okay. If I could understand it clearly, you are aspiring to be a logistic manager or some kind of supply chain role in oil and gas sector.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So, oil and gas sector, primarily a lot of PSUs are there. And PSUs, you will see, per se, I'm not seen any advertisement coming from PSU stating that they require a transport manager or something, or logistic manager. What they do is they hire graduate engineering trainees, GET, who are taken based on certain entrance exams like GATE, and then they are moved into different roles within those companies. So that is how you should pursue that goal of entering into a PSU. Coming to other jobs which are available in private sector, there are few jobs available in oil and gas in private sector, like in exploration. But these jobs are all on field, I will say, at site. Most jobs are at site, and these sites are all located in far-flung areas where oil exploration activities are happening within India also. So you should be ready to move to those locations. But other than that, I've not come across any advertisement or say for a logistic role in oil and gas. Even there are jobs available in oil and gas for procurement, but procurement of oil and gas assets require a lot of different skills, I will say, because they expect a person having a petroleum engineering background or a mechanical engineering background, who knows the equipment and machinery that goes into oil and gas sector. So per se, there are no direct jobs available for freshers.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Freshers jobs are available, but those are all offsite jobs. On-site jobs,
Okay, sir.
where there is people are not willing to go to those locations. Like I had once visited to Kane Energy block in Barmer, which is into Rajasthan. It is very remote location. So even oil drilling happens in some secluded zone within the desert. So people are not willing to go to those locations for jobs. So now there, because there is a genuine scarcity of people, they take even freshers also. They pay very well. Job, it is a highly paid job, but they take even freshers for those locations.
Thank you, sir, for your
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Good evening.
Sir, I'm chemical engineer. I'm
Yeah.
little confusion between operation and finance. Should I
Hmm.
go with operation in specialization? And sir, as I'm fresher, is there any scope for job with the specialization for me?
Um, okay. When you do finance, especially, just do before rather than not only finance per se, but before you take up any specialization, I suggest that you, all of you rather, not only Pooja, but all of you, uh, please do a SWOT analysis. What are your strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats? Uh, People who are engineering, who are having engineering background and pursuing finance, they will get competition from people who have done their graduation in commerce, or who are CAs, or who are CFAs. So they will get a competition from them. So before and just check out what all roles which are available for, especially for engineering graduates who have done finance management, engineering finance. So there are roles who are into project appraisals and project management, wherein companies require certain technical skills before approving of loans to these companies, whoever is a borrower, potential borrower. So there, such kind of roles require engineering skills. But other roles who are which are into finance sector, not all are meant for engineering graduates. So there you will get a competition from all these people, CAs, CFAs, and even BCom, MCom graduates. Coming to your question, whether you will get a job in chemical sector, being you being a chemical engineer. In fact, after this pandemic, what I see in the market is lot of chemicals which were getting imported from China. Those will be manufactured in India subsequently, not immediately, but over a period of time. And chemical industry per se will boom like anything. So there are two focus sectors. One is chemical and other is a pharma. That will follow a success of IT sector, which happened in year 2000. So a lot of opportunities will come from chemical sector. So I think you have a good chance of entering into a chemical sector, because chemical sector is also very, very niche. Unlike other sectors, chemical sector require a lot of product understanding, because there are different has classes, different handling requirements for each of these has classes. A lot of dependency is there related to the safety aspects. So it is very, very niche industry per se. So there is a good opportunity that will come from chemical sector. So I expect better opportunities, job opportunities from chemical as well as pharma going forward.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, can you tell about the automobile sector? What will be the future? And because currently the automobile sector is quite down, sir, and the small scale industries are facing many problems due to the corona and lockdown, all the things. So what will be the future for the, mostly I can say, sir, I live in Pimpri Chinchwad. So the Bhosri MIDC and Chakan MIDC, the small scale industries are closing. So because they are mostly based on the automobile sector, so because of the Tata and Mahindra which are there in Chakan and Chinchwad. So what do you think? What will be the future of the automobile in electrical also, sir?
Yeah. So conventional automotive sector, wherein you have petrol diesel cars or even CNG cars, there I see a bleak future, because eventually electric vehicles will come into the market. Because just understand what is the fundamental difference between electric vehicle and conventional vehicle. There is no engine in electric vehicle. It is all electric motor. So the moment you replace conventional engine, you do away with lot of parts. So your engine vanishes, your gearbox vanishes. So So all those industries, all those companies which are dependent on engine or engine related products or gearboxes, all of them will vanish for a period of time. So there is a bright future for automotive. I'm not saying, but not certainly petrol diesel cars based industries.
Okay, sir. So because the small scale industries which are there in this Chakan medicine, all this, they are mostly dependent on this engine parts and also.
Yeah.
So they are up like they are closing their shops
Yeah.
and
So
they don't.
yeah, so what will happen eventually is there are two segments in even automotive. One is passenger cars. Eventually, they will be all electric vehicles, passenger vehicles. Um, Slowly and steadily, even commercial vehicles will be battery operated. It will not happen immediately. In Europe, there are battery operated trucks also, electric trucks. But in India, I think it will take some more time. Till that time, all these industries which you just spoke, they will have to migrate from passenger vehicles to commercial vehicles. So if they don't change, then I don't think they have a good future. Or probably they will have to look at some other parts or components in electric vehicles. Probably they will have to focus on electric motors or some batteries or some other components or in parts which are getting into electric vehicles.
Okay, sir. I would also like to ask, sir, while choosing my first, as I'm a fresher in this after MBA, while choosing my first job, should I go in a big firm, MNC company, or should I go in a small scale industry so that I can gain more knowledge in all the fields, and then I can switch to a bigger firm, or what should I do, sir? What should I do?
Okay, so my looking at the current environment, I suggest that whatever job you have, the job you get first, just take it up. Don't wait for the second opportunity. Per se. Otherwise, what will happen? Your first opportunity will also go. So if you have two opportunities in hand, then you have that choice of choosing one. Then you definitely you go ahead with a multinational company. But otherwise, since jobs are all drying up in the market, very few people, especially freshers, they have that opportunity and privilege of having multiple job offers from different companies. But those are very few. Uh, College like us, I don't know what is the placement status, but if you have only one opportunity in hand, just grab it and go ahead. Don't wait for the second opportunity. But if you have two opportunities, then go for the best one. Either I will prefer to go with a multinational company because it adds value to your resume.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Hi, sir, Vinit here. Sorry, sir, I said Bajaj in place of Honda previously.
Yeah.
So, sir, actually, I was asking about some niche certifications that I can do because I'm from commerce background. I'm a BMS graduate, and I find it a little bit challenging to, find another job in supply chain industry or freight forwarding because most of them are asking for engineering background. So, can you suggest some niche certifications like DG handling? Or as you were saying, custom clearance, so that I can pursue it?
Yeah, so like I said before, you can pursue international trade management, international trade management. You can pursue. You can pursue custom clearance also. So there are a lot of people, having a commerce background. They work in this two fields, and it is an evergreen sector per se. International freight and custom clearance.
Sir, are there any institutes where, like, when?
White Red Center and Wellinkers.
Okay, sir, I will check it out. Thank you.
Again, there is a potential or a potential change, or that is what I see happening in future, especially for custom clearance. Uh, it will be much more simplified process, like what you do for filing of income tax return, that you do on your own, do it yourself kind of thing. So you go online and choose a relevant HSN code, and automatically the duty will be calculated, and eventually what will happen over a period of time, role of a custom clearing agent will vanish. Uh, so rather than custom clearance, I will suggest you focus on international trade management, or international trade management.
Yeah, sir. It's
It
all
has,
getting digitized.
in fact, it has already started. There is a green channel provided by Indian government to all big multinationals, wherein they are allowed to clear the goods without even assessment. So, so slowly and steadily, uh, 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 it will go like what you do for income tax return filing online. Everything will be online.
Yes, sir.
Does anyone have more questions? They can ask to sir. Sir, as there are no more questions, sir, we can wind up, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, just sorry, sir.
Yeah.
Just one last question. So, like you have so much of experience, so can you just share with us what do the industry look in the candidates while they are hiring right now? What is the scenario, sir?
Okay.
As
So what? Yeah. So again, it all depends on the role. If you are into a business development role, or in a customer management role, or key account management role, what industry looks for is communication skills, and how you convince customers. So persuasive skills. And third is customer management skills, because customers come with all different kinds of requirement, and some some requirements are like out of moon. So how you manage those customers well, that is more important. Second is costing. Because you are MBA graduates. Um, what people expect is you should be very good at costing part, or whatever costing you want to do, whether it is a logistics cost, or production cost, or raw material cost. So you should be good in calculating various costs. uh, that is what people look for, because logistics operations is a cost function. Okay, we operations is not a revenue function. Revenue function is marketing. So when you work with a cost function like operations, what companies or management expect is every year there should be a reduction in cost per unit. So how they track is, in current year the cost per unit was X, and the KPI or a target given to you is bring down this cost per unit by say a percentage in next year. So this will be the your goals, which will be set in the beginning of the year. So it is a cost function. Keep this in mind. Operations is a cost function. So whether you work with a transportation, you work with a procurement, your performance will be monitored based on cost of operation. So you should be good at costing part, costing negotiations. This should be your plus point. So if you happen to, this is a suggestion. If you are arranging a event in college, during interview with the potential employer, And if you are a fresher, because you don't have much contents to speak about, during interview, what you can say that, okay, I had organized this event in the company, and during that event organization, I managed this is vendors, and then I negotiated this price for the college. And earlier year, the cost was X. I negotiated. I found out a new vendor, and I brought down the cost from X to X minus whatever XYZ%. That is how you should be talking in during the interview, so that interviewer also will come to know that yes, although yes, you are a fresher, you don't have any professional background, but you have that knack and you have that skill of negotiation. And also you can also protect that because you are a managing or you have organized this event. You manage so many people, so many other stakeholders within the college. So you have a good skills of even management skills. So whatever events you are managing within the college or outside the college also, you try to convert those experiences into the one which are relevant to for the interviewer.
So, can I ask a question,
Yeah,
if you don't mind?
yeah,
So,
please.
could you shed some light on the certifications regarding the warehouse enterprise and supply chain, like the SAPs? What role do those certifications play while hiring?
Yeah. So within okay, in the third leg of supply chain, which is warehousing and distribution, there are depends on the company. Various ERP modules are implemented. Like SAP is there. You have Oracle is there. You have JD Edwards. So various ERP solutions are there. SAP is widely used. It is expensive, but it is widely used. And they offer certain courses like SAP certification or in SD, that is sales and distribution module, SAP certification in WM module, which is a warehousing management module. There are similar certifications for material management MM module, or PM, which is a project management module. So there are various certifications. So once you do these certifications, you get a role of functional consultant. Because why it is called functional consultant is because you know what are the processes which are involved in sales and distribution in case of SD module. So SD module includes what? Selling, or rather than I will say, requisition management, or PO management, or sale invoice management, or transportation management. So all those fall under SD. So you have knowledge of various processes which are there, and that is how you get that job. So you have, on one hand, you have a functional knowledge, and on other hand you have a system or a software knowledge, and you bring both these knowledges together, you marry them, and you prepare a functional document, I will say. Yeah, and that functional document is sent to a technical person who will do designing, coding, and some configuration task, and will develop that product for the customer. So you become an interface between a customer who will tell you the requirement, and a technical person who will do a coding or a configuration. So you will work as a functional consultant. So that is a role offered once you complete certification part.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any more questions? A final question, anybody? Okay, so then we can wind up.
Okay.
Before we wind up, sir, we would like to click a picture.
Yeah,
So
please.
I would like to request all of you to switch on your cameras for the picture.
Sir, I would like to give you a vote of thanks, sir.
Yeah.
I, Shubham Boite, on behalf of on behalf of the placement officer Kavita ma'am and all of my batchmates, would like to thank our speaker, Mr. Amit Velenkar sir, for enlightening us with his knowledge. Today's session was full of useful information about building a career in operations. It gave us a deep insight into the scope of operations field with regards to various roles. Some key takeaways were a role in operation specialization in three verticals: purchase and procurement, production and planning, logistics. Sir also shared his experience in Alkesh Dinesh Modi. Sir has also clarified doubts of our students, and Sir has also shared his experience in his career. Once again, I would like to thank Mr. Amit Itvelenka sir for taking out his time from his busy schedule and sharing his information, knowledge with us. I would also like to thank our placement officer, Ms. Kavita Mishra ma'am, for organizing this session and inviting Mr. Amit Velenka sir to conduct it. And lastly, I would like to thank all the students present here for participating in the webinar and making it a success. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. We
Thank you,
can.
sir.
Gele, sir.